Hey everyone, I should check myself before I get on here, and I never do. And then when the video starts, I'm all disheveled. I'm always disheveled. Anyway, I want to welcome you. I am Dee Brandis. I am a teacher slash keto coach. I love and I'm passionate about helping people become better and doing better. So welcome to our group. It's the Beginners Keto and Intermittent Fasting Facebook group, which has become a family, has become a network. It has become just a tribe of an amazing group of people. But tonight I am on how many months have I been doing keto? I have been doing keto since the end of September, beginning of October, and I have had the most amazing results. And then when I added my intermittent fasting, it just has been crazy amazing. It allows me to have a lifestyle that I absolutely love. I have clarity and all kinds of amazing results. So if you're interested and you want some help on getting started and I'm not answering your questions or you don't get your questions answered, ask them in the thread. There's so many people that want to help you. If you're new, let us know you're new. Put new. Reach out. Don't be afraid, because you may be thinking of a question that someone else would like to know the answer to. So don't be afraid. You've got to reach out. So let's talk about those pesky macros. Who's on here tonight? Whoop, whoop. Hey, Lori, how are you? We're talking macros. Now, this seems to be, when I first started looking at macros years ago, I was like, I didn't have a clue. So let's just talk about macros and percentages really quick. The way it's broken down is 70% fat. We want 70% of our fat, or our calories. So say you have 1,200 calories a day, you want 70% of that to be your fat. Then you want 20%, we do moderate protein, okay? We want it to be 20% protein and 5% carbs. Now, how does Dee Brandis figure this out? Well, I look at it, I'm not a math whiz, as you've all watched me through this journey. I've gotten a lot of things, little math facts wrong. So I like to think of it like 3 to 1. I like to do my fats 3 to 1. So I do about 150 grams of fat per day, okay? And I divide that by the amount of meals that I'm going to have. So if I'm only doing one meal a day, I focus very much, I focus more on my fats versus everything else. So, but if I'm going to eat 3 meals a day, I take my 150 grams of fat and I divide it. So I do try to get about 50 grams of fat, 50 grams of fat per meal. Now, you may want to do less, but I do 70% of my calories in fat. So then the recommendation is moderate protein, because protein can convert into glucose, guys. You know, I know you go to gyms and all the time they're telling you more protein. But as I age, that more protein has not worked in my favor. Give me an emoji if that's you. I know we still need our protein. Our protein is a building block for lean muscles, and it's important. I'm not saying don't eat your protein. I'm just saying that maybe you can't eat as much as you used to. And I know I have a lot of people disagreeing with me, and they're going to get on, when I post this on my page, I'm going to get a lot of discussion from it. But moderate protein. Now, if you are on the other end of the spectrum and you're working out intensely and hard, then you need to have a higher intake of protein. But say you're just a moderate to less active person, I don't advise that you eat too much protein. 25%, which is about 50, I say 50 grams to 75 grams of protein a day. Now, if you've got people in here training, I say you got to go up to 100. Men, you've got to go a little bit higher, but I wouldn't go if you're stalled out and you're not doing well. Remember, so what I do is I divide my 50 grams of protein by the amount of meals that I'm making. And yes, I do use measurements. I do use a scale to measure my food. Hey Holly, how are you? Low carb. Now, the way I measure my carb is I count them. Okay, I try to stay 20 or less carbs per day. Now, if I'm being really strict and I'm trying to shock my system, I might be 10 or less carbs. Now, I get my carbs not from the stereotypic carbs. I get carbs from vegetables, okay? I love my veggies. I love my spinach. I swear, I cannot live life without cauliflower. And I love my Aldi's because that's where I get my veggies. I am so thirsty all the time. So I get my carbs via vegetables, and I always try to go greener because those are better, more fiber for you, more potassium. So that's how I figure my carbs or my macros. So if you've got a better way, share it with us. But I divide it. That's how I do it. And then I know if I'm fasting, I eat most of my fat in one meal. So I don't really have to figure it. But I know that I'm gonna include my butters, my olive oils, my avocado, my MCT oils in a meal. And it's more important if you're fasting to get your fat grams and your macros better than anything else, and to keep those carbs low. So I hope I explained how I figure it. It's confusing, but remember, eat fat to burn fat. Our bodies were designed by our maker to burn fat, okay, and to create ketones, and that's why the brain becomes better. So I see everybody's popping off of here. If you have any questions, put questions. You're new, connect with me, friend me, follow me on Facebook. I love connecting with all of you. If you have any questions that you don't want to ask in front of anybody, private message me. I hope to see you on my next video. Night, everybody.